You got challenges that you're going to run across.
And I know you've been in the university, industry and university workforce for a long time, and so
That's
you
big
know,
business.
yeah,
That's big business.
Yeah, the workforce
It's
it's big business. Yeah. Let me ask this question. I'm gonna ask Gerald or Tasha. Are you willing to step out on a limb and say that a kid would come out better 12 months or 24 months studying foreign exchange, Forex, trading than 4 years in the college? I'm talking about financially.
Yeah, let me bring some clarity because I want to bring because I was definitely not knocking the education system. I got 2 master's degrees. I'm a demonstrated senior logistician. I got all sorts of titles and accolades behind my name. So I do believe education is very important. But what I want to bring clarity to is that when I say that we go, because the expectation is college. I was actually the Jacksonville recruiting commander here in Jacksonville, Florida. So I had 7 Army recruiting stations that I was in charge of in this whole area. And I interacted with the high schools. I interacted with all of the kids I spoke at the high schools. I did interacted with members of the community, the school board. I did all of those things, right? And so when I say bring clarity, is because the goal is college, not a skill set. College is a business. And that's what I think most people miss. All my kids, my niece and nephew, colleges, I believe in it, right? But at the same time, I believe more in education. So if you're learning a trade out the building or something in the building, it's about education. And the reason why that failure rate is there, because most people don't understand that college is a business. They recruit as well. We hear, I don't want to recruit. I don't want this. Well, guess what? Direct sales, somebody recruited you to that school. It's recruiting happening right now on this broadcast when we're screaming, oh, FAMU and this and this and that, or oh, Jackson State, right? All of that is recruiting, or there are people that get paid with the universities to make it more attractive and also to go out and speak with athletes and all of those things. So let me bring clarity to that in itself, right? But then, and matter of fact, you look behind me and say recruiting. I was a recruiting commander. So all of that happens, but I say that, as far as what's available, you would come out wealthy. You would come out more financially stable, feasible, what you want from a skill set. And I say that from learning the skill set of trading, because there are limitations on what you can earn with the degree, right? Because you are working for someone else's company. There's a freedom in entrepreneurship. There is a now you got to work. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't come easy, because the mindset and what we're taught is going into the university. What we're taught is going into that workplace. We're taught, just like you said, we're taught how to make a resume. So you're taught to sell yourself, right? You're taught to make yourself presentable to somebody else, that they will pick you over somebody else. We're taught to do those things. We're taught to negotiate for pay, because at the end of the day, every company has a bottom line number that they have to make in order to pay you. And they're not going to pay you more. They're never going to pay you more than what they can pay you, or, where they're not receiving something on the other end. And that's what people are missing. So even if you have a good paying job where you're earning 6 figures or what have you, what a lot of people consider a good job or anything, there's still a limitation and a cap. Working for the government, there was a cap, right? There's always a cap on the pay, because you can't go make any more money, and they'll even stop you from working overtime. So learning the skill set where the money is unlimited, right? Where you can make as much as you want, but you have to be willing to learn the skill set. The same way you were willing to learn the skill set that got you the degree you were getting, but you're capped on your income. But when I have this skill set, then, or I'm in that space and I'm building a business this way, it's unlimited. The limitations are only the ones that I put in place.
Wow. Okay. So I know Mr. Rogers has something to say. I know he so I can see him chomping at the bit. So go ahead.
Well, the question was, am I? Yes, I will stand on the tip of the limb, right? right? Because when you think about being able to recession proof your life, that's what this skill set represents. And if you're willing to put the work in, there's no limitations to that, because it's $7.5 trillion a day, right? So here's a crazy number. If you and I, all of us collectively on this show today, if you and I spent $60 a minute, it would take all of us 31,666 years to exhaust $1 trillion, and that's on an annual basis. So there's no limit to money. So this skill set, when you think about it, you go through a 4-year degree process under the pretense that you follow the curriculum, you meet with your advisor, and then someone sits behind a desk based on the bottom line, as Ms. Dyer alluded to, and is going to determine how well you take care of your family. I'm of the opinion that I don't want anybody to have that type of control. And in most cases, you go through that process, and it's all about if that person likes you or not. It has very seldom does it have to do with the skill set. It's all about the relationship. So if we're going to help people understand how to become economically empowered, this is the message that now we should be teaching, because there was a time frame when that message of culturally going to college was a part of that process, but that message is now antiquated. So the reality is the skill set is of a necessity. Right. There's a more excellent way, and this is the way to be self-sufficient, change your income, change your neighborhood, change your community, change your place of fellowship. So once you put it in here, nobody can take it away from you. And that's the beautiful part about learning this skill set.
Wow. Yeah, because I was going to kind of do a little pushback with Ms. Dyer there about, so are you saying a person goes to college and pay 150 grand, 200 grand for the 4 years or whatever they pay, and then they come out, then they learn this trade? It's like, why even do that? I mean, learn this skill set. Why even do that if you know a person can learn this skill set and win in life, and in college that 85% of them are going to wind up doing whatever. I see a lot of people, UPS drivers, you can go straight to UPS and work there. You don't have to,
it's not necessarily the issue is not it's the fact that people don't have, you got to start with the end in mind, right? You got to start, I've always known it as a military decision-making processes. You'll hear Gerald talk about the end in mind. The reality is people do things based on where they are and not where they want to be, and so when you're looking at, I do believe like everybody has a calling and a purpose in life, right? Even I do like my degree is I have a business degree, and then I have a degree in logistics and human resource management, right? So and leadership. So I have a master's in leadership and HR and things. So and logistics. So when you look at it, that helps me even in this space. You know what I mean? It helps me. So if you know why you're going to school, if you know why you're getting a degree, if you know what your calling in life is and what you want, see, trading is a vehicle. It's not the destination. It's a vehicle. It is a vehicle to help you launch. Just like I want to touch on the products too, because the way we don't just offer business credit. We don't just offer, personal credit. We're always offering things, and it's to really help with the education aspect of it. And so we've tailored and shifted some of our products because we're always thinking about the customer. We're always thinking about that person that's wanting more, right? We're always want to put people in a winning position. And so even our personal credit now is a do-it-yourself, because you can go to, I'm not going to name a company, but you can go to those big companies and those well-known companies. They're not telling you what to do. They're not, when I'm trying to fix my credit or repair, it is really not a fix my credit, is the education and the legality behind it is I want to dispute items that might be incorrectly reported, or, you know, things of that nature. And they're not helping you. They cannot legally help you unless you have an attorney. So you get to do it yourself now for free. That's one of our products. The only thing is you have to purchase your credit reports, because we as our company cannot see your credit report. So you have to purchase your credit report, you know, and in doing so, then you get to dispute those items. So the only thing you're paying for is those credit, and you can mail it yourself, or you can pay us to mail it for you, right? And so that's a shift, and that's $39 a month. You know, that's not bad at all. And so that's a big difference. And even with our business credit, businesses get to get a free scan. And I know individuals that have actually already scanned through the system. We're actually about to really do a huge release on it. But I know individuals that's already scanned through the product, and they're like, wow, they would have never purchased business credit. They would have never done that. But because it was so eye-opening, and success, a lot of our success, you know, our lack of success is in our ignorance. You know what I mean? So people, it's because they just don't know. And so you're asking, why won't somebody do this, or why won't that happen, or why? Well, a lot of people just don't know, or they're misunderstood. They misunderstand why they even went to school to begin with. Why did you go to college? Was it to pledge, or was it to hang out, or was it because you were ready to get out of mama house? That's not the answer. It should be the destiny. If I want to be a doctor, I have to go get that degree. If I know I want to work with my hands, if I want to be out the building and not in the building, then I know I need a trade, right? So while you're there, but the goal has always been college. Think about what we tell kids as when they're young. Oh, you're going to college, but nobody ever talks about the why. That's why people fail at it, because the goal was college. And then when they get to college, what now?
Wow. Okay. So with your credit program and the business funding part of it, is it classes a person take, or is it information? I know when I talked to Mr. Rogers about it, he sent me a link, which I can actually post here, and the link was, it was a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about credit, is it something that somebody else could be doing that you all are not doing, or you all have everything that
we got it on lock? We got this. So what it is you can take your business, right? There are key factors. Everything is driven by AI technology now. So it's good, and it's like, right? But everything is driven by AI technology. And so there are factors that businesses use, because they use the same stuff, right? The same technology, not the ones to make your pictures, but the technology, in the back. So there are key factors that they're looking for, because a lot of decisions are automated. And so there are key things that they're looking for. And what happens, something as simple as, I know a lot of people use a cell phone as a method of their business phone. I got a Google Voice. No, you need a business line, right? Or you don't need a Gmail, things that simple. Something like, does your EIN completely match, right? Your EIN matching your business name that you're using, right? All certain things that has to match up. So not gonna go through all of that, but a business owner understands. So, and some of them just don't know. And so what happens is you go through, you get the free scan. It scans your business by the information that you provide and what they can find out there. And then it gives you step by step. So you check this box, you're available for this type of funding, because you want it separate than you. You want your business separate than your personal, and you want to be bankable. You want to have access to funding. You think about the pandemic, and we heard a lot of things. And once again, I call it ignorance, because people don't know. Oh, African Americans were significantly at the lower end of the spectrum of receiving funding or getting different things. And that's because most people only had a business set up with a business name and an EIN number. They didn't do anything else. And so it was not the fact that you were African American. It was not the fact, because a computer don't know that. It was the simple fact that your business was not set up properly, but that comes from us not being properly educated on that. And so we just want to make a difference and help people understand that these things are out there and it's available to you. And when you run that scan, like I had somebody do it this morning, ran the scan. And when he ran the scan, he hit on nothing. And he actually has a storefront business and everything else, but hit on nothing from being what's called bankable, where you can qualify for grants and loans and the different programs and the different things that's out there. And so we have 2 different tracks that if you decide you want, now there are going to be resources in there that, hey, that's all, you don't have to pay anything, where you can go, okay, let me check this, let me go get my virtual office, let me do this, let me get some of these resources set up. But then if you want to run through the system to make it official, you can do it virtually, or you can pay another $500 and you can actually work with a coach that is going to assist you right through that process. And so
Wow.
the beautiful thing is, you're eligible for funding up front, and that funding can help resource that, which is going to put you in a position to, really, and for just $500 extra to work with a coach. So really it's 3 tracks you could work from. One, limited resources where you pay nothing. And then one, you do it all virtually. And then the third one is with the coach.
Wow. So BYOB has everything, huh?
Yeah, that's what I said. We got you covered.
So Marvin, I'm gonna bring that question to you again. I don't think I brought it to you, but I brought it with everything everything you know about this business, everything you know about colleges. You've been in the workforce for years with them. And let's say your child didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or attorney. Would you pay the 150 grand or the 100 grand or whatever it costs to send them to school now, if they could go get a skill set like this?
I don't think it's either or. I think that's the difference. I think it's almost like, would you homeschool your kid, right? So there's value in homeschooling your kid through high school, because there's an attention to detail that you get. There's some things that you don't necessarily have to worry about what grade your child is in, whether they're in 9th grade, so they only can learn this, where they might already be ready for the 11th grade math or the 11th grade lesson, so to speak. And so that's what homeschooling does. It gives you the ability to hone in on something in such a way that you can kind of bring out that extra level of attention to detail, that extra ability to kind of get the best out of your child. But the one thing that I think that you miss out on is some of those social skills that you get, those what we call really life skills that you get. The 2 things you're going to do for the rest of your life that nobody teaches you is what to do with money, which of course what we're talking about, but 2, how to interact with a significant other, or in this case, other people. So I think the things that you do get, the networking skills, the people that we know, even if you're trying to market to somebody, you're trying to recruit somebody, well, what's your circle, who you going to recruit to, right? So it's almost like saying, technically speaking, you can be a Christian and not go to church. But typically most Christians don't say don't go to church. So that's why I say it's not either or, because yes, you can be a good Christian and you can do all the things that God wants you to do. You can know the word that you need to know. But most people, and I would assume that the people on the platform with me as well, they would never say don't go to church, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I say I don't think college is something that you would say don't go to college. Now, when you start talking about spending $150,000, I think you might need to find a neighborhood that fits for you better in terms of, what you're going to spend. But I think the networking, I think the relationships, I think, knowing the people from different walks of life and where they come from, those are things I never would have been able to get had I just stayed in my own cocoon in Chicago and went into a room and I just said, hey, you know what? I know how to trade now. So I know how to make a lot of money, but I don't know how to communicate with people. I don't know how to meet people where they are. I don't know this gentleman from Tampa, Florida. I don't know what it is to be from Duval County. I don't know what it is to live in Louisiana, what you go through living in Louisiana or growing up in Mississippi, California. I just think about all the people that I met and those type of things. That's to me the value that you get from going to college. But to answer your question in regards to learning the skill set, what the skill set does, having the ability to control your own finances, what comes into your household, what you're able to do now and what you're able to do later is something that is unmatched. Is really irreplaceable, right? And like Mr. Rogers said, you shouldn't have to sit on the other side of a desk and let somebody tell you whether you can work for them. Let somebody tell you how much they can pay you. Let somebody tell you where you can go on vacation. Let somebody tell you where you can live. Let somebody tell you the type of kids, the type of things that you can do for your kids and your family, for your parents, if your parents are older, So those are the things I'm completely on board with that part of it. But I just think that we have to put it into the proper context that we're still growing. We're still learning at 18 years old. And for those 4 years, 5 years that you're kind of going through that process, understand what it is you're really, really doing. You're not necessarily in that environment to make money. You really are learning some information that's going to allow you to work for someone else. But the social skill that you need to get and how to deal with people from all walks of life and all the stuff that goes with that. I mean, people kind of take jabs at frats and sororities and band members at our schools. I mean, but there's so much that even goes into that, man. And so, I just think that, that's a big part of the experience. And that experience is something that I, personally, I don't regret, and I would want my kids to be able to have access to.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was gonna say that I did enjoy my college experience. I definitely agree with Coach Green as far as that's concerned. But my testimony is my daughter did do that. She literally but I will say what I've always done with my children is we talk about the result. Like, what do you want out of life? Like, what is it you desire? And so we were actually planning doing her college application. We were actually filling out her dorm, picking her dorm room. And in that moment, she said, Mom, I'm not going to go. And I said, wait, what you mean you're not going to college? And she said, I'm not going. She said, I'll go if you make me go. But if I go, I'm just going to waste your money. And that was a very easy decision.
Wow.
Because she said, I'm gonna waste your money. That was a very easy decision. And so, but what we did is we communicated. We started talking about life and her desires and different things and what she wanted. And so what she ultimately did, and this is where we have to understand everybody's not a college kid and everybody's not, because it's not a bad thing. It's like I say, I've done it and I enjoyed it, but that was not her journey. And so what she ultimately ended up doing is she joined the military for 3 years to kind of get that experience and figure a few things out. When she came out of the military, she actually she got a really good job in her early 20s, but she has always been somebody who's hands-on. She loves the beauty industry. Like, she's always been very artistic and creative. And so she knew she wanted to go to school. And so she didn't want to spend my money to go to college. That's why she wanted to get the college fund and the college, and so she went back, she became an esthetician, she's done all of these things. And now she actually did go back and got her degree, because that business degree is helping her with her business. So she knew what she wanted from the business of college, and it's helping her with what she's doing. But she actually owns a very successful shop here in Jacksonville, Florida, and is actually in the process of opening another one. And then she has another business where she sells different products and things to people. So she actually is running 2 businesses that she is earning residual income off of, because people were in there working. She doesn't have to be there. And, as a mom, she doesn't have to put her child in daycare. She doesn't have to do those things. And she does have some hours where she does work when she shows up, but she doesn't have to be there to generate income. And so she's made it work for her. And now she is in the process of opening a new shop to do the same thing somewhere else. So, it's just, we gotta let them find their path, but also make them understand money in the process. Because if we're going to create that shift, my whole point behind that is, if we're going to make a shift, it's not going to be our personal testimony. It's not going to be our personal story, but it's going to be helping other people understand where they can also have a shift, where they can also have other options. Because a lot of people are where they are because they feel that they don't have any options. And so when people understand they have options, they make different decisions.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.